So, hello everyone. Hello everyone in my community. I haven't had a chance to get into my community and my social media for a short while. I've been working on other things and behind the scene things that I haven't been into my community as much the last few weeks, working on myself rather than in myself. You know what they say about business, right? Working on your business rather than in your business. Just shifting your perspective, just changing your perspective. Sometimes you have to take a rest in order to get a new perspective. Just having a conversation can change your perspective. It's about a change of perspective. I tell people this is what changes our lives. Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. I'm just reaching out. I'm just saying hello. I'm just reaching out to my community. I'm just saying hello. I'm just meeting with a new friend today. Susan is just the lady that I met along the way. And that's what I like to do. I like to talk to people that I meet along the way and share them with, the other people that I've met along the way. And so that's what I do in my community. It's like, I think it's about community, it's about relationship, it's about dialogue. This is how change happens.
Absolutely right, John. Yes, and I'm very, excuse me, I'm very proud today to be interviewed by John DePass. He's actually a famous person. He he is the former Mr. North America from 1996. And he has an extensive experience in bodybuilding, in a bodybuilding career. I believe you entered the Mr. Universe competition when you were only 23 years old. Is that right?
Yes, these are true things, but I'm 50 years old now. And you know what I tell people, the last 10 years, I learned more about my health when I lost my health in my life. I had a life of health. I had a life of, bodybuilding and fitness and coaching, training, and I have a studio in my home, and my wife is a trainer, and we've been training together for a lifetime. And yes, I've done a whole lifetime of health. My kids are in health, and I have 3 children, but I learned more about health when my health fell apart. In the last 10 years, I learned about my health by putting my health back together. And I did that naturally. And I recognized from putting my health back together the last 10 years that the information that we are being told about health is not the information that's going to make you healthy.
Yes, that's true. That's absolutely right. I've had some some interesting experiences with mainstream health.
Why do you say? What's happened to you, Susan?
Well, I did have a major health crisis when I was starting in my late 30s and going into my early 40s. I was having a really hard time at that time with dealing with some family issues. And I had a lot of unresolved emotional issues that I just wasn't addressing. I was just powering through, taking care of other people, making sure everybody else was okay. And then in my early 40s, I started to have some really severe panic attacks that were incredibly intense, that ended up landing me in the hospital. And at first, we didn't know that they were panic attacks. There were all kinds of tests. There was a lot of stomach trouble with the panic attacks. And so I had x-rays and tests, and no, it wasn't cancer. It wasn't anything else like that. The doctors couldn't figure out what it was. And eventually, one doctor told me a sort of alternative diagnosis. He told me perhaps it was stomach migraines. And so I looked up stomach migraines online and tried to help myself. And I went on incredibly restrictive diets, gluten-free, sugar-free, absolutely MSG free. I became aware of all kinds of hidden MSGs that are in foods these days. Natural flavoring is actually kind of code word for MSG. You have to watch out for natural flavoring in food, because a lot of the time that the natural flavoring is actually a highly refined substance that's been cooked and cooked and cooked and then added to food to add flavor. Food that's just been stored for long periods of time and have lost all their nutritional value. And so anyways, I worked hard on my nutrition, very hard on my nutrition, and I had a lot of improvements, but it still wasn't completely better. I was still having the panic attacks. And so I was going in for acupuncture to try and help myself out with the panic attacks. And I started talking with a young man who he couldn't have been any more than about 30, 32, 33 years old. And he told me that he had had heart disease. And he told me that he had come across a book called The Root Canal Cover Up. I'm sorry, I forget the name of the author. And that he'd had his root canals removed and that his heart disease had then gone away. And that perhaps a lot of my problems were caused by my root canals, because, you know, I enjoyed a lot of health in my younger years. I was really into exercise. I loved, you know, eating right. But, you know, I had this horrible breakdown in my late 30s and early 40s. And I couldn't figure out what was going wrong. And so, you know, I finally came across this root canal information. And so I researched that extensively for almost a year to make sure I was making the right decision. And then I went ahead and I had my root canals removed. And that was very difficult to have done. Dentists really did not want to do it. I was told, this just isn't done. We don't remove root canals. We do therapy on root canals. We'll repair root canals, but we don't remove them. We don't just take out teeth, you know? And so
I don't know what a root canal is. Like, I mean, I've heard of it all the time, but like what are they actually doing when they do a root canal? I don't really know, but I mean, to take them out, to take your teeth out?
Yes, I'll explain. A root canal is when they tell you that your tooth has died. They tell you that your tooth is unsalvageable. These days, they're recommending root canals just for very deep cavities that can be fixed easily with fillings. But they're telling people, you know what, you should have a root canal because this cavity is so deep, you're going to end up needing a root canal anyway. So what they do in a root canal is they dig out. There's like a root in the middle of the tooth, right? They drill down into that and they take tools and they dig out that root. They take it out. And that effectively kills your tooth. It makes it dead. But your tooth is still implanted in your jaw. It hasn't been removed. So what they do is they fill that cavity that used to contain your nerves that fed your tooth. And they've dug out that root. They call it a root. It's the nerves of your tooth. And they fill that empty cavity that used to hold your nerves with a type of rubber. And this rubber actually shrinks about 1% to 2%. They've been using this type of rubber with variations for about the last 100 years without any changes. Anyways, it shrinks about 1% to 2%. And that leaves a cavity inside of your tooth in the root canal. And inside of that cavity, there's anaerobic, I think it's called anaerobic bacteria. It's a bacteria that it doesn't require oxygen. It doesn't belong in your mouth. And what this bacteria ends up doing is infecting your bloodstream. And people can end up developing all kinds of nasty things from neurological difficulties to heart disease,
So
to
how do they
cancel.
take the root canal out? They can't make the root come back again.
That's right. They just kill the tooth and they fill it with rubber.
So how do they take the root canal out? Take the rubber out?
When they take the root canal out, you take the whole tooth out. You take the whole tooth out. Now, I see I've got still pretty okay teeth, right? Nice teeth. I got it. Luckily, it was the back teeth. You can't really see. So I got lucky with that. But when I took those root canals out, I experienced an incredible boost in my health. I had these terrible chronic migraines, and the migraines and sometimes terrible stomach aches too. And they would and terrible bloating. And I had weight gain that I just absolutely could not get rid of. And all of that stuff went away as soon as I got rid of the root canals. Right? So,
very interesting information. That's a very interesting share. You know, I've heard about this, but I've never actually spoken to anyone about that. So I really find that a real interesting share. I mean, I've also heard about the mercury of the teeth and the cavities. I never had really any of these problems, so I never dealt with that. But you know, what a fantastic, interesting detoxification thing to recognize. That this is what I've found about health over the last 10 years. It's really just about eliminating the toxicity that's gotten into the body. If you eliminate the toxicity that's been put into the body, the health will be restored to the body. But what the medical community is doing is they're just giving you a chemical or a drug to cover up the symptom. Well, now you're putting a chemical or drug into the system.
Yes.
So that's going to pollute the system. Over 3 years, 5 years, 7 years, the system will become more bogged down, polluted by that new chemical that you started, that you'll have another problem started.
Absolutely true. Then you're stuck with more side effects, and it actually ends up deteriorating your health more in the long run.
This is it, and this is the thing, and you get stuck into like lifetime use of things, and this is profitable, and insurance dollars are covering this, and it's taken off of paychecks, and people don't even know that money's being taken and moved around this way. Like, this is just moving big dollars around, and it's a big dollar thing. Like, really, if you want to talk about your health, we need to get out of this. My health is something I kind of get from my doctor at all. Like, health is not from your doctor. Sickness is what you get at your doctor. When you're sick, maybe you go to your doctor. But if you want to get healthy, don't go to your doctor. Like, either like maybe go to a health expert, or like decide to become your own doctor, like to take your own health. Like, I need to take charge of my own health, like step into the power role, like recognize you can't leave your health, your wealth, your love to be led by external sources anymore.
It's absolutely
what's going on externally with any of these things, you're going to be in turmoil in any moment.
Yes, it's absolutely true. Yes, you have to stay in control of your own information, your own destiny. Would you like to tell me about your own health crisis that you had?
Well, you know, my health fell apart at 40, same sort of thing. Like, my health was deteriorating from 30. It was probably deteriorating from before that. Now I know that. But really from 30, I was feeling aches and pains developing my body. I was seeing my body weight going up, and I was, but I was just such a bodybuilder, vain type person, so that I was so conscious of myself physically that I would notice this minuscule little changes in myself, that I knew that something was wrong with my health. Like, my body is not responding. Like, I've been doing this since I was 13.
Yes. And it
So
was an
I know
incredible
my
work of art.
body. I know my body, and my body's not responding anymore. And people would say, well, that's just middle age, or you're 40. Like, it's not. And I knew that there was something else wrong with me.
Yes.
I had sleep problems. I was getting sleep medication management, having digestive problems. I was having acid reflux. I was taking ibuprofen every day because I had all the aches and pains in my body, anti-inflammatories. Obviously, I'm having anti-inflammatories. I'm having to take coffee. I'm having to take something to go to sleep at night, to stay asleep at night, then having coffee all day long. It's just a rapid cycle of like up and down, up and down. I wasn't getting healthy. I wasn't sleeping better. I wasn't feeling better. I wasn't getting happier. Like, this wasn't, my life was not going anywhere healthy. And then financial cavalcade, my business falls apart, surprise. My relationships falling apart, surprise. My family's going to be falling apart in a second. If I don't get myself together, I'm going to have to do something different than what I'm doing.
Health is key.
I'm going to lose everything. So it comes to a point where almost you have to lose your health or your wealth or your relationship before you go, oh, I'm not doing something right. I need to take charge of this and go the other way.
That's right. Yeah, you almost have to hit rock bottom.
Whatever I was doing has to stop, and I have to go the other way.
Yep. Yep, you got to stop and sort of hit rock bottom at a certain point. And
this is the thing. It's like you're talking to people that have kind of hit a rock bottom. I say somewhere between 40 and 60, we bottom out.
And so for you,
Susan?
I'm 52.
Somewhere between 40 and 60, and that same sort of me. Like, I really bottomed out at 40 and said I have to put it myself back together. And then you have to kind of start taking responsibility for yourself, and you start to think and speak a little bit differently.
And so for you, was it the protein? It was
I was addicted to protein and bodybuilding and ripping my body apart, and I was addicted to this big size and those steroids and all the rest. Like that,
yeah.
I was addicted to that lifestyle and that low body fat obsession. Like, I had a food problem. I had a self-image problem. I had a size problem. I had a drug addiction. I had a stimulant addiction. I had a sleep problem. I had a candida problem. I had an athlete's foot. I had a financial problem. I had a relationship problem. My health, my wealth, and my relationships were all falling apart, starting with what? I didn't have a good relationship with myself.
Yeah.
Starting from number one, I didn't have a relationship with myself. So how could I have a relationship that was successful with anybody else?
I totally understand. And so how did you get away from all the extra protein?
Well, first, I had to find some new information. I was a scientist. I had been studying science. I'd been teaching that science, that personal training science. And so I understood like the science of protein and all of the rest. I understood that. But I needed to have an alternative science. I needed to find, alkalinity. I needed to find pH. I needed to find balance, natural balance. I needed to find oxygen rich. I needed to find life force. I needed to find emotional body. I needed to come out of just being physical. Like, I'm just about big muscles and about a certain amount of weight and a certain amount of reps and a certain amount of money in the bank account and a certain number on the street that you live in. It's a certain house or a certain car or a certain amount of thing that you got. Like, none of this actually makes you happy or fulfilled.
Hey, you know what though, John? You achieved an amazing work of art. I've seen some of your videos of what you achieved there, and it was, it was incredible. Absolutely, it was a beautiful, beautiful work of art. And you know, unfortunately though, you had to delve into some pretty unhealthy areas to actually achieve that level, right? It ended up taking its toll in the long run.
This is the thing, you know, like when we try to like portray something physically, you know, you want to be Mr. Universe or whatever, like you have to be you. But when you try to be Mr. Universe, then you go break yourself.
Yeah, yeah, because everything is at such an extreme level at that.
Whenever you try to you try to be something that you are not. You just
Yeah.
have to be yourself. And you know, this is the story that we always like. I started into it because someone picked on me, beat me up in front of the girls, and I got into this. I got to be bigger. I got to be more. I'm not good enough. So I started tearing my body apart and eating this protein. Like I started with this broken idea. I'm not good enough. Look, I had to mend this.
Yes.
I had to
Yeah.
mend this back talk, this negative self-talk, this self-esteem problem. I had to mend this. And, you know, we don't mend this till later in life, like between 40 and 50. I had to overcome those food addictions and exercise addictions and that sort of thought process about exercise, that body part sort of process, which everyone's in, like this separate body part. Kill yourself this one, kill yourself that one. The health is about killing yourself, and then what are you eating this protein diet? Like this is what health is.
Yep.
This is what they're selling as what's health.
Yeah. I mean, I got caught up in it myself. I was very high protein myself. I had a career where I had a high level of physicality at my job. I used to have a saw, like a big sawzall in my hand all day long. I'd be carving all day long. I used to carve rocks and sculptures and things for the film industry. And I used to, you know, compete with the men. And so I had to eat a lot like a man too, you know, to keep up, and ended up developing carpal tunnel syndrome, and just really wore myself out, and that really helped to contribute to my breakdown in my early 40s. There, it was just, it was too much. I was probably doing too much protein and everything too.
So what did you change with your diet? Did you change your diet? Is that one thing that you changed?
Yeah, I did. I extensively changed my diet.
What did you do with your diet to change your life? What did you do?
Well, totally gave up sugar, additives. I'm mainly off of gluten. You know, I do have a little fun every now and then. I'll have a beer every now and then. I'll have a cookie, you know. I'm not, if I'm out, you know, and there's a little gluten in the dish, I'll have it anyway, you know. I'm extra careful about not having too much meat protein as well. I'm a bit of a beanaholic. I love to soak my beans and cook my beans, you know, because I just everything's perfect about a bean. It's got all the protein, it's got all of the carbohydrates, it's slow releasing carbohydrates, and it's got all the protein, it's got the fiber in it and everything. Yeah, I'm a total beanaholic, so so that's really helped a lot. And you know, I looked into other healing methods too from the East that we might go into later on in other videos. I've just been extra careful to take chemicals out of my life. Even in clothing, I don't even wear plastic clothing anymore. I'll go for only natural fibers, that type of thing. You know.
So did you like go to more fruits and vegetables then? Is that?
Oh yeah.
Reduce meat, more fruits and vegetables, would you say?
Yes. Big time fruits, more especially fruits.
So
I have fruit with
is it a live food? Would you say, is it more living food?
Yes, absolutely. Raw living, and I do believe in that when it, you know, especially, you know, if you have grapes as opposed to like an apple, I feel like I'm getting more out of it because there's more little lives in there to eat. It sounds kind of sick, kind of bad, but you know.
So,
More,
but you really feel like it is about living food, like it is about live food, more live food, less dead food, less animal protein,
uh,
less sugars, less
especially,
cooked and processed foods, less cooked and processed foods, less sugars, less processed sugars, because it's not less natural sugars. I'm not saying like fruit is a natural sugar. So I'm not saying sugars. I'm saying unnatural sugars, or like processed sugars, or these are what you want to reduce. So I'm thinking like over 40, this is my thing. It's like I tell people over 40, over 50, I say hormonally your body can't manage the same amount of food. You don't
yeah,
have the profile. You don't have the profile to support it. So, if you're over 40, if you're over 50, you have to learn how to eat less food.
intermittent fasting.
You have to learn how to, fasting is a big part of that.
Yeah.
But I think even just switching from cooked and processed foods to live foods will drop your food amount down, like your caloric intake will go down. Like by switching from cooked and processed foods or dead foods or animal proteins and starches lifestyle to micronutrition, to living foods, to fruits and juices, smoothie, fruits, juices, salads, more often living foods, plant-based nutrition, more so. I'm not saying elimination. I don't think you have to eliminate. If you want to have some fish, if you want to have some cheese, if you want it, it's not the end of the world if you do these things, if you like to have some eggs or something, but it's like you're moving from the focus of I build my life and every meal around protein to build my life and every meal around life, around living food. That's the bulk of my food. And then sometimes I have a little bit of protein on the weekend, or it's Christmas, or because it's the birthday, or it's the weekend, or I go to dinner, or, it happens. And that's what mom's made, because mom made fish. So I'm not going to tell mom we're not eating tonight. Like this is what you do. It's a social, it's an engagement of like family goes beyond those things. Like relationship has to maybe cross those barriers where it's like, I don't do this and I don't do that. Like, well, I do that sometimes. It's not like I don't ever do that. I do that sometimes. On all occasions, I do that, but I don't do that daily.
Yeah, I mean, because there's an emotional fulfillment component to having a little treat,
There's
just like
an
everybody else.
emotional fulfillment, a relationship fulfillment, an energetic fulfillment. And this is why I say, like, joy and happiness, there's an energetic. And this is what I like to talk about is like this energy. This is the inspired energy. This is like energy of like just a happy thought. This is just a hopeful idea. This is inspiration. This is internal sun. This is like there's an external source of light, the sun.
Yeah.
It creates all life here on the earth. The Mother Earth takes the light and creates all of the life here on the earth. And then you've got this internal sun, right? It's your solar plexus. The sun that's inside of you. It's your own decision that you make today to like think about something hopeful or think about something hopeless. Like you're worried about your health or you're optimistic about your health. Like, are you hopeful or are you pessimistic? Like, this is it. Like, are you the glass half full person or the glass half empty? And some people say, well, I'm this or I'm that, but sometimes I'm this and sometimes I'm that, and that's it. Sometimes we are this and sometimes we are that. No one is always one or all the other. Some days you wake up and you're like, I just don't feel like it today.
Yeah. especially as we get older.
I don't have it. I just don't have what it takes to make it.
Yeah.
Sometimes you are in that space and you have to feel that, and that's a part of life. But then when we're ready to move on, when we're ready to put behind the lament, the thing that happened, the past, you can cry about the kids or the husband or the job or the money or the health that you lost or the time that you lost, or you can cry about what you lost. And there's nothing wrong with crying. I'm not saying crying is bad, but I mean, you can cry as long as you want, but sometime after you cry 3 years, 7 years, 14 years, 21 years crying, sometimes I don't know how long you're going to cry for. Then you're going to say, you know what? Enough crying. It's time to change my life.
Yeah. Get back into life.
It's a change of decision, and you're going another way. You're not talking about the crying anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You're talking about where you're going to go. You're changing your decision. You're going a different way. No, I'm going this way now.
And then you got to get up and keep moving
in that new way until that becomes your new habit. Well, that you can't learn that overnight.
We can get a little bit stuck sometimes crying.
You can get stuck.
Yeah. Because I mean, if you have trouble crying for a while and you finally start crying, it can just feel so.
If you've been in a habit of crying, like, listen, your feelings are a result of what you're thinking, saying, and doing. If you've been thinking, saying, and doing about this shit and rah, you had this in your life and your husband's a narcissist and your kids are this and the government's this. They got the this, did that to you, and that did fuck that to you, and COVID-19 and all the shit you had, right? All of the shit you had that everyone's throwing at you, and you're looking at, I got all this shit on me.
Yeah.
And you can get stuck in it. You can get stuck in it, all of this shit.
Mm-hmm.
And it's true. There's some shit going on. Some shit has happened.
Sometimes it's good to get covered in shit.
Sometimes you gotta get covered in shit.
Sometimes you just gotta get right down in there.
Sometimes you gotta feel the shit.
Yeah. Taste the shit. Roll around in it.
And you say,
rub it in all the cracks.
You know what? You come to the middle part of your life, you start to say somewhere between 40 and 50, you stop looking at life like, I'm going out and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. You start to say, like, how do I really want the rest of my life to be? Do I want it to be the same like this? How it's been going? Or do I want it to be different? Which one? And that's why I like to speak to people somewhere between 40 and 60, because I think this is the time that they may be ready to take back control of their life.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm certainly at that point right now in my life. I'm kind of a little bit of an empty nester right now, although my son still lives with me. He's independent now, and I had to work so hard to take care of him in his late teens, and now I'm looking at all this regained freedom, and I'm wondering, what the heck do I do with it? I just want to have some fun, and so I started up this YouTube channel where I just kind of dance sometimes, and I do funny skits sometimes, and I do a bit of singing sometimes, and sometimes I show my paintings off a little bit.
Creativity.
Yeah, just
divine feminine. It's expression. This is feminine. This is expression. This is artistic. This is creativity. This is dance. This is how humanity fulfills creation. The dream of creation. What the human creates is what God is creating.
Mm-hmm. And you know, and what you created with your bodybuilding and everything, that was an amazing creation too, John. That was an incredible work of art. It's
Well,
just
it was a physical work of art that taught me some things. It carved some important things in me. It taught me about discipline. It taught me about structure. It taught me about nutrition. It taught me about exercise. It taught me about hydration. It taught me about balance. By giving me imbalance, I learned how to be balanced.
Mm.
So, it was a hard lesson. A lesson well learned, though. But I
Yeah.
learned what I needed to learn from it, and I moved beyond it. And from it, I'm using it now to create the life of my dreams.
As a personal trainer.
Yeah, well, as a personal trainer, is just, I think, an expression of me, an inspiration, a light. A personal trainer, a health and wellness coach, just a friend, a support, a motivation, an inspiration, a source of information.
Yes.
A
Yeah.
dialogue, a friend, a support.
And a person.
A person that helps another person that wants to make a change.
Yeah.
A person that likes to see other people succeed and gets to do that all of the time and is passionate about it and lives that dream every day, has those types of conversations, and that's what you think and talk about every day. It's exciting.
Yeah, it's so important to be able to enjoy other people's achievements and joys and everything too.
And help other people to achieve and joy and have joy and be a support for other people. So this is what I love to do, is like help people to take back control of their health and their joy and their happiness and their relationships in their life by changing it inside of themselves this time. Not by changing it outside of themselves, but by taking complete control of what they can control. They have complete control of their internal self. They can nourish themselves with what they think and say. They can nourish themselves with different food, live, energetic food. They can change their food, they can change their thoughts and words, and they can change their movement. They can work on their physical and their mental self. And if they take complete control of this, that they can change their emotional body, the way that they feel, that their emotions will change, that their energy will rise, that their frequency will go up, and that everything in their life will get better, that their health, their wealth, and their relationships will all improve.
Maybe even find a nice relationship too, which is what I'm trying to do. Yeah,
Wow.
so
I've got something for you to try. I've got my 7-day free kickstart. You should try.
well, that might meet a nice guy.
You might meet a nice guy.
Oh, that would be all right. That would be okay.
There you go. See, you might meet a nice guy.
You never know.
You might meet a nice guy. There you go.
Well, yeah, keep me in mind if you know anybody. Just
I'm looking for nice guys. Do you know any nice guys?
Getting harder. It's getting harder and harder.
Getting harder and harder to find nice guys these days.
Yeah. Well, I think the guys are nice. I just don't think the dating apps are very nice. I don't know if the dating apps are really doing the guys a lot of favors. Getting them all addicted to swiping and everything. I don't know if the guys are really all that happy doing all that swiping. But it's so addictive.
Just to keep on swiping?
Yeah. They that's what they tell me, is that they just can't stop swiping. They just can't stop scrolling through all the possibilities. All the possibilities are just so intoxicating.
Yeah, so this is it. I mean, if you just fall into the physical, and this is it, if you're really stuck just in the carnal, and you know, no judgment. And I think also there's kind of two parts in our life. Like I think in the earlier part of our life, in the masculine of our life, we thrust out into life. It's the start of our life. It's the spark of our life, and it's like we're going out into life and we're getting everything that we can out of life, and we're experiencing everything in our life. And then some point there, we the life kind of hits the midpoint somewhere between 40 and 60 where we slip into the feminine, and this is now the back part of my life, and it's like now it's time to learn how to love your life. Like the back part of my life isn't really going to be different than the front part of my life. It's really going to be different about how I think about it.
Yeah.
This is just a change of perspective or perception. So, if I fall into this perception or perspective that I am just the physical body, I'm just carnal, and all I am is just getting more money, and I'm just getting, drunk, or I'm just, having sex, or I'm just having more, this is not wrong. But it's a very masculine way to be. It's the early part of life. Like this is how we are in the early part of life. And then,
Yeah.
when it comes to the midpoint of life, it comes to like learning how to love your life. You're gonna recognize that loving your life isn't really about getting more money or girls. Learning how to love your life is going to be about something inside of yourself, literally inside of yourself, in that it's the way that you think and speak about yourself in your life.
Yes, it's absolutely true.
This
You
is
have
what it says, healing yourself, the way you think and speak about yourself in your life. This is the biggest influence in your life, is your internal voice.
mm-hmm.
The sun inside of you. This is your soul, your higher self, your spirit self.
Yeah.
This is perfect. This is whole. This is connected. This is grounded. This is in the present all of the time.
Yes, and I've done a lot of work on that myself personally, and that's why I feel like, ultimately I'm totally okay being single. I'm like actually very happy being single. I feel very complete in and of myself. It would be nice to have a companion, but if I
It
can't find
really
that.
isn't about another person. At the end of the day, it's about finding joy and happiness inside of yourself. But the thing is, when you do actually find joy and happiness inside of yourself, that it will start to spill out of you so much that you'll start to have wonderful relationships. Like until you learn how to fill your own self up with love, like till you're spilling over with love, until you learn how to make your own self spill over with love. Like this is possible, that with your own mind, like, I mean, you can smoke the crack to change the brain serotonin. You can eat the cookie to get the serotonin and dopamine to change. You can change the serotonin and dopamine from taking the smack or eating the cookie or watching the pornography, or you can just think about the pornography and you can change the brain serotonin in the brain. It can be just the thought alone can change the brain serotonin. You can think about the smack and think about the pornography and be there again. It's in your mind that you create the change. It's the spark of your decision to be thinking about what you are creating or what you got.
Absolutely true. And most of those chemicals are
situation. If you want to change it, just stop thinking and speaking about the shitism that you're in.
yeah. So true. It's all about focus. Whatever you focus on expands.
Yes, yes. Stop. You create your reality. No, isn't it true, love?
Yes,
Who's the
absolutely.
creator of your life, love? Let me speak with the manager here. Who is the manager? Who's the manager? I need to speak with the manager. Who's creating my life? Because I know it's not right, because it's not the way I want it. So someone, it's not me creating it. So do I take full responsibility for this life or not? So you know what? I'm going to take some full responsibility with my life. You know what, Susan? I'm going to offer you an opportunity to work with me for 7 days next week. I want you to see me every day. For 30 minutes, I want you to make a commitment to me. I want you to see me every day for 30 minutes. You can see me at 7 a.m., 9:30, 11, 4:30, or 5:30. One of these times you have to see me. You have to make a commitment to see me at one of these times.
Okay.
Every day, starting from Monday.
All right.
You're going to see me for 30 minutes, and I'm going to give you a nutrition plan.
Oh.
You're going to follow this nutrition plan, and you're going to follow this exercise plan 30 minutes a day with me. Movement, breath, focus, thought and word, and action.
Oh yeah, I'd really be into that.
Okay, so we're going to do this every day for 7 days, and you're going to follow the nutrition plan. And then after the 7 days, you're going to have a conversation with me, because I'm going to want to talk about the whole experience that you had.
Sure, no problem. No problem.
Okay. And then if you like it, then we talk about if you like to talk more with me or not.
Absolutely.
Okay.
That sounds like really the perfect thing for me right now, because I've been a little bit inactive and I need to get that blood flowing again.
Okay. So then this is what we're going to do. I'm going to send you some startup information, and you're going to see me on Monday at 7 or 9:30 or 11 or 4:30 or 5:30. One of those.
Okay, I'll probably end up choosing 7, because I'm
awesome. Crack of dawn. I like it. I'll see you first thing in the morning, Lil. We'll get ourselves going together.
All right.
Accountability, support, dialogue, communication, movement, breath, commitment, dedication, thought, words. Yes. Okay. I love it. I love our interaction today, Susan.
Me too. Fantastic.
Yeah, the lottery, I say there's no luck, there's no luck, like everything for a reason.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Can I just quickly show you a couple of my paintings?
Oh, please show me your paintings, your creativity, love.
Yeah, I did these paintings a few years ago. I'm also really really into the human body as an art form. I studied anatomy extensively in school, and I do sculpture and I do painting. So it's something. It's a thing of beauty for me. So here's a couple.
Is my background.
That probably looks a lot like you right there.
That's unbelievable. These are awesome paintings. These are beautiful body shots. You're an artist. You're a fantastic artist. You're an awesome artist. And this is it, artistic. It's to get into our creation. It's to get into our feminine, the divine feminine. This is the healer, is the feminine, is the creativity. And, you can be creative with art or painting or just journaling. You can you can be artistic, just expressing yourself with your thoughts, with your words, with your ideas, with just your light. Whatever's inside of you is your art.
Yes, absolutely. Even if it's just dancing a little bit that day, moving a little, breathing a little deeper.
Yes, deeper breathing resets the body, love. This is what it's about. And that's at the root of my program, is really deeper breaths, conscious, like oxygen rich movement creates oxygen rich environment. Then we eat oxygen rich food. you know, like it's oxygenating the body, that creates an environment within the body that ignites health. And then you ignite it with your thoughts and your words, with the right vision inside in your solar plexus, with the decision that you choose in your masculine mind to focus on these thoughts and words. You create in each moment of each day. You're creating with the right thought and word. So as long as you start each day with the right thought and word and hold that right thought and the word, well, then what has happened to you has no more power over you unless you bring it from the past and bring it forward and spill it up all over yourself.
Yes.
Cast away what has happened. Your disease can be a thing of the past. You can leave your weight aside. You can let go of your pain. You can let go of your past relationships, your faulty, your failure, your whatever you've had happen in your life. You can wipe the doo-doo from your toes.
Mm-hmm.
You can start again.
Absolutely.
Every single one of us can do that. We can all start again. It's a decision within ourselves to believe that it's us. We're the creators of our reality.
Yes, absolutely true. Absolutely true, John. Very inspirational.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's been great to chat with you today.
Thank you too. Thank you so much. And please say hi to your wife and your family, your kids, from
I
me.
will. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Hope the rest of your day is great.
Send you some stuff over email. See you later.
And hardly wait to get started on that.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye.